The 16-valve Citroen ZX is a car that not a lot of people know exists. I mean, did you know that they made a 16-valve Citroen ZX? Did you know about that? No, you didn't. Because everyone and their dog thinks about the Citroen ZX Vulcan and oh, the Vulcan, oh, the diesels were faster than the petrols. Citroen did such a bad job with this car that the underlying theme of any conversation you have about a Citroen ZX is that the diesels were faster than the petrols, because no one knows the 16-valve exists.
Whoa, you gotta have one of these. You had a diesel one, it was quicker than the petrol.
If someone said to you, 16-valve Citroen hot hatch, Citroen Saxo, innit? Nah, 16-valve ZX. The 16-valve ZX is definitely the ultimate forgotten hero of the hot hatch era. Mechanically, this thing was exactly the same as a Peugeot 306 S16, which was the forerunner of the GTI-6. They have got an amazing chassis. Everything's set up so well. They look wicked, they drive great, they've got just the most beautiful chic 90s dorky looks. And the build quality on them, I think, is way up from a Peugeot. There's a bit of a theme here with my Audi A6 that I posted the other day. Before we go crazy, how many miles has this thing done? $205,000 miles? That's right, this 16-valve ZX has done over 200,000 miles. I just like high mileage cars. Also, quick shout out, One Wiper Gang. So, let's go for a drive in my favourite weird car from our collection of weird cars. It's just, I love it. It just looks so good. Like, what? How are these so slept on? To work out why I think the 16-valve Citroen ZX is the ultimate unsung hero of the 1990s hot hatch boom, you've got to drive one. You can tell immediately. This car, oh, the chassis, go, go, go! Oh, man! Send it. This is going to be the best video we've ever done on the best car we've ever bought. When I started doing this video, and I was saying I was going to do it this morning, I was like, yeah, I'm going to drop a few hints in there that it's for sale. No, I'm not selling this car. This car's wicked. I just love this car. To try and get it across on camera, just quite how chuckable and on rails this thing really is. Like, I'm barely touching the steering wheel. It wants to turn. It wants to be driven. Why don't they make cars like this anymore? This is a proper hot hatch, man. Should we go and have a play with this Mini ahead of us? He's put his foot down. Let's go get him. Oh, come on, girl. Come on, Mini. I'm in a 30-year-old French shitbox. You can do better than that. Look at him, he's all over the road. That Mini in front of us is getting dragged into every bit of camber, every bump, everything. And this thing, it just rolls with it. And the brakes, the lack of assistance, and the fact that I am in control of this car. Yeah, around the outside, Oh. This is a car that any petrol head would love to have. Once you get over the dorky looks and the fact that you can't buy any body parts for them. and the fact that there's only like 2 of them left on the road. Once you get past those things, you're cool. Now we get on to the worst part of owning a Citroen ZX. When I got this car came to our little collection from my dad's boss, Martin. Martin, I know you're going to watch this. I know you wish you hadn't sold this car. I don't care, it's mine now. And you're not having it back. Martin had dug this car out from somewhere and it had an immobiliser problem and it wouldn't start, which people in the know that that's easily resolved. He advertised this car up for sale and it got so much attention. But I was like, I want it. And I wanted it to turn into a fun, fast, summer daily driver, kind of maybe hot it up a little bit. But then once I got it and started driving it, my brain completely switched on that one. This car now has become an exercise of preservation. This has become something that I'm proud of, I'm precious of, and I want to keep it as nice and as standard and as enjoyable as I can. The reason for that is because it already does everything brilliantly. Once you've learned the car's limits and you've got it out on the road and you've had a proper play with it and you've enjoyed it, you don't need any more than that. And I couldn't live with myself if I ruined such a great car that's so original, that's so not messed with, that's so unique. I've never seen another one. I've never physically seen another 16-valve Citroen ZX, apart from at Martin's, because he's got one that's a project. I can't ruin this. Doesn't mean I can't send it, I just can't ruin it. I love it. Oh. Hot hatch driving heaven. This 16-valve Citroen ZX, it's not even a question. This is the ultimate unsung hero of the 1990s hot hatch arms race. I don't know why I'm doing all of this all the time. I need to keep my hands on the wheel because this thing's rowdy. So, the 16-valve Citroen ZX is a car that Citroen, they didn't stand a chance. At the time, in the 90s, the 306 S16 and 306 GTI-6 was a properly presented, sporty package. And the Citroen ZX just looked like a dorky alternative, to be honest. It's one of those cars that's aged really well though. When you look at a 16-valve Citroen ZX now, it all makes sense. We don't need to talk about specs and features and equipment and economy and all those things in this, because it doesn't matter. The whole point of a 16-valve Citroen ZX is how it drives. And for me, this offers everything that a Peugeot 306 S16 or a GTI-6 does, but wrapped up in a 90s retro, chic, kind of dorky looking package, which for me makes it a lot more endearing than a 306 GTI-6. I don't know about you, but when everyone tells you a 306 GTI-6 is the best 90s hot hatch, it makes me not want one. And the 16-valve Citroen ZX, it gives you everything that makes a 306 great, and none of the downsides. These are a car, I could wax on about this all day. These are a car that real petrol heads know and appreciate. I am having more fun at 60 mile an hour on this B road than I would do in a Golf R or an S3. Because this car is designed for this. It's not designed for doing 100, 120 mile an hour. It's designed for 40 to 70 back road blasting fun. Oh. Go on, girl. Woohoo! I love it. Yes, more cars like this. More cars like this, and the world will be a better place. I'm just steering, just with my fingertips. I'm not wrestling the car. oh, it wants to work with me. It doesn't want me to wrestle it. The faster you go, the quicker you turn in. 200,000 miles, baby, to the moon. Yeah, the more you work the car and the faster you go and the tighter you get your lines and the more controlled you are in your steering inputs, it feeds it straight back to you. If I was wrestling along at the wheel, it would feel horrible, but it's encouraging me to drive smoothly and fast and controlled. It doesn't want me wrestling it. It doesn't want to feel raucous. It just wants me to play. And you can use the throttle to trim the line. Martin, when you watch this, I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, go on. This is real. This is real. There's nothing about this for the camera. Yeah. This car is something else. Yes. This just needs to be like a 5-minute long montage of me just having the best time of my life. Oh, yes. And I'm only at 4,000 RPM. I've got another 3 to go, but this is comfortable. This is where this car wants to be. Big land anchors. Oh, yes, power on. Do you know what the best part of this is? Genuinely, I haven't even broken the speed limit. Well, I say that, I've probably done about 65. I have not broken the speed limit. And I get this. Why doesn't anyone love you? Why does everyone rave on about other cars when this is here? Probably because I can't buy one because they're so bloody rare. The 16-valve Citroen ZX is a car that you just can't afford not to know about. If you're into hot hatches, you like 90s French stuff, you probably don't know very much about these. These came with a variety of engines. Most of them were mechanically the same as a Peugeot 306 S16. That means 2 litre, 16-valve and about 155-ish horsepower. The thing with these engines is they're not screamers. They don't like to go all the way to the 7,000 RPM rev limit. What this car loves is mid-range grunt. That mid-range power, the fantastic turn-in and throttle response that these have, coupled with the light back end, means that these are a B-road monster. And once you get to know them, the dorky 90s Citroen looks, I think, are wicked. It just looks like a big Citroen Saxo. I love these wheels. Look at it. And the iconic 16-valve badge. And that rear quarter, like that view there. Oof. It's arousing. I think the 16-valve Citroen ZX is an unbeatable package. The engine's smooth, it's got loads of flexibility, the powertrain lends itself well to being a 5-speed box, the turn-in, the way it drives is brilliant, it's every good. Every good? He's good as a Mackey's! There you go, that's it. For me, the 16-valve Citroen ZX doesn't get the recognition that it should. It's every bit as good as a Peugeot 306 GTI or an S16. The chassis is amazing, the turn-in's great, the back end's nice and light, the engine is perfectly matched to the gearbox, the way that it's got a bit more torque and that flexibility to the power means that when you're out on a B road giving it a bash, it just pulls and pulls and pulls. And they're pretty reliable as well. Fair play, this one's done 200,000 miles. It has been very well looked after and maintained. However, cheap to run, easy to buy parts for, great looking car, easy to work on. Have I said easy to work on? It's really easy to work on. This car, mint. Unfortunately though, if you're in the market for a 16-valve Citroen ZX, that's pretty much your only option at the moment. I don't know anyone that's selling one. I mean, I'm not selling that, but you're not exactly just going to go on Piston Heads and find one for sale, are you? Just honestly, just watch this. One's going to pop up for sale on Piston Heads like now. If you've got a 16-valve ZX that you want to sell, after me putting this video out is the time. That is the time to advertise it. Do it now. I'm just rambling on now. Basically, if we want to wrap this up in a nutshell, this car's mint. You probably didn't know about it, and that's a you problem. 16-valve ZX. Who'd have thought?